We are being joined in studio by Dr. Marilyn Black from Underwriter Laboratories and Dr. Zhang, a professor at Duke University. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Very interesting topic here at the SOT convention. We're talking about wildfires. Dr. Black, I'll start with you. Why in your mind are wildfires an emerging threat to the public?
From the 1980s, when we first started tracking wildfires, there were about 2 million acres being burned a year, and now we're up to around 8 to 10 million. And not only are they increasing in frequency and breadth, but they also are burning very much hotter and faster and creating more damage to our communities, to our environment, and posing health risk.
Do you attribute that directly to climate change?
Well, I would say climate change is one factor. Obviously, extreme weather, especially heat, drought, contribute to that. But we also have land management issues that come into play as well.
Dr. Zhang, obviously the threat to human health, we know, goes without saying. Smoke inhalation, you can become a burn victim, unfortunately. But what are some of the other ways wildfires are impacting human lives, specifically the health of a human being?
So, my area of expertise is the air pollution. So the smoke exposure, and that smoke, the mixture is not as well characterized as we thought. That smoke exposure affects people in, of course, the immediate proximity. But you think about the contribution to the regional air pollution is actually quite significant.
So what sort of symptoms would one generally see from exposure to smoke from a wildfire?
It's not just the limited respiratory system. The cardiovascular, now we have evidence to show those exposure is linked to reduced birth weight and some neurological development outcomes as well. Those evidence are emerging, but it's not, quite strong there to have a causal relationship.
And Dr. Black, if you could tell me in your mind how these threats to human health can be mitigated.
One of our biggest concerns is that the wildfires are now encroaching on the communities where they're going to impact large numbers of people. And when that happens, you not only have your natural vegetation burning, but then you've got all of the materials and chemicals, synthetics that are associated with the built environment, a residential home, a car, that burn and get mixed into that complex mixture of chemicals and particles that Jim was talking about. And that is a real concern, but it's an area where we know very little about. But when you get a lot of chlorinated chemicals, you get a lot of plastics and things like that have a lot of potential to create really toxic chemicals when they combust. So one of the best things that we can do to mitigate is to shore up our built environment, right? So that it is hardened in a way to try to protect it from wildfires. But the next thing is really going to the individuals, and especially in homes, and teaching them and helping them learn the risk that they are facing and what they can do. Stay inside their homes, close their windows, close their doors, run their HVAC, their ventilation systems on full recirculation and not bring in outdoor air. It's not just what's in the air, but it's the residue that comes down from the fire. That residue can infiltrate the homes, it can infiltrate our waterways, the soil, and really produce a long-term exposure issue.
Thank you so very much for your insight on this topic. It is certainly very topical, especially for folks living out west. So really do appreciate it and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.